I wonder how Jeff Bezos feels about all of this. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Waking Up with Richie. So many of you guys have probably been wondering where I've been and why I haven't uploaded in a little bit, and my answer to that is that I've been working so hard on my newest candle collection. It's called the 2024 Fresh Spring Candle Collection. And I finally got it completed. It's up on my website and available for purchase, but I stayed up so many nights trying to get things completed in time for my launch date, which was March 19th. I've also been changing around a lot of things on my Patreon and just doing some revamping for this year because this is another year that's going to be full of change and new chapters, so, I got to plan accordingly for that. I am in the process of changing around my VIP Candle Collective program, which, if you don't know, it is a tier on my Patreon where those users have access to all of the content that I post there, as well as receiving a new candle for me each and every month at the beginning of the month. So one of the main things I'm going to be changing around with my VIP Candle Collective program is that I will be sending out a 10-ounce candle from one of my existing collections rather than a 4-ounce candle of a scent that I haven't released yet. I was just doing the math and kind of looking back at the past year, and I realized that you guys would get more bang for your buck by receiving a 10-ounce candle from me rather than a 4-ounce candle where I don't even know if you're going to like the scent. So that's what we're going to be doing moving forward. And I am going to be raising the price of that VIP Candle Collective tier just a little bit to cover for some extra costs to make sure that I'm not losing money. But I hope you guys are interested in joining my Patreon to get to know a little bit more about me. And while I'm here, why don't I take a moment to give a huge shout out to all of my very much appreciated Patreon members and supporters. Thank you guys so much for your support over there on Patreon. You held me down even during the toughest of times, and I hope to keep sharing so many more memories with you guys and lessons. And I've been a part of Patreon for about almost 7 years now, and it's been such a fun ride. It's been a journey more so, and I hope to keep sharing more of myself with you guys and meeting more of you guys in the future. There are 3 separate tiers you can choose from, so check it out. So first I want to jump into some current events. Now the first one I found stood out to me for whatever reason. I really don't know why, but let's get into it. So have you guys ever heard of a lady by the name of McKenzie Scott? Well, if you don't know, she is Jeff Bezos's ex-wife, who is the CEO, founder of Amazon, and they divorced in 2019 and were married for 25 years. It's a pretty lengthy marriage, if I do say so myself. I feel like anything over 10 years is admirable, in my opinion. Like I said, guys, they divorced in 2019, so about 5 years ago, and she has since donated, get this, $17.3 billion to over 2,300 different organizations. McKenzie Scott said Sunday that she would be donating an additional $2 million each to 15 LGBTQ organizations, along with 279 other nonprofits. She also said that she's going to be donating an additional $1 million each to 82 nonprofits. So that's a lot of money, you guys. That's a lot of money. And someone who is donating that much money has clearly not earned that money, if you know what I mean. And I hope that doesn't come off in an offensive or ignorant way, but I just can't imagine anyone, any entrepreneur, business owner that has built a business from the ground up just donating millions upon billions of dollars, just kind of like raining it down on everyone. I don't have any objections against this. I think it's great. I think it's a miracle, honestly, a blessing more so. But I also think it's jarring. Just the sheer amounts of money that she's throwing around. All donations are unrestricted, meaning groups can spend the funds in any which way they want. Now, the organizations are decided through an open call system. Some of the organizations that were awarded the money include Long Beach LGBTQ Center and Outfront Minnesota. So there were many more, but those were just to name a few of some organizations that you guys might have heard of before. I think it's great that McKenzie Scott has donated so much money to these organizations, including the non-LGBTQ organizations, because those ones matter too. I wonder how Jeff Bezos feels about all of this. I wonder. Do you guys think he's okay with it? Do you think he's wiped his hands of the situation? Do you think he's supportive of the situation and the decision that she's making to donate all this money? Who knows? So what are my thoughts on this situation? Well, I certainly think that this is a blessing. And $2 million, even in today's day and age, can go such a long way, especially in underfunded communities that really need that extra money and those extra resources to make things happen. So I just think that's awesome. And I'm curious to know, what do you guys think about this? What do you think? What do you think? Okay, now let's talk about another topic. And this isn't so much a current event, it's just more so a topic, maybe a controversial topic to some. But I want to talk about the word queer. Now, I have mentioned in the past my distaste for this word. And in recent years, it's hard to escape this word. You just see it everywhere. You see it plastered on the side of buildings. You see it on billboards. You see it being used by people that aren't part of the LGBTQ community in just such a free way. And most of the people that are using it as a descriptor, which I also find very weird. It just is never going to be normal to me, you guys. I'll die on this hill. One of the notes I wrote down with this topic is that most of the people that use this word as a descriptor for themselves are female, or born female, I should say. And I just find it interesting that that word has just kind of exploded into society in the last couple of years. And I don't like it, to be honest. I don't find it a PC word at all. I mean, the definition of the word queer is something that is strange or odd. And I want to ask you guys out there that are watching this, whether you're gay, straight, female, male, however you identify, do you feel connected to the word queer? Do you? Genuinely. And please tell me if you do or if you don't in the comment section, because I think this is such a healthy conversation to start, because I've talked to other gay men who express the same feelings as me for the word, but feel like they can't express their true feelings about it because they'll just be kind of knocked down or exiled, you know? The gay community is not exactly the most accepting, despite all of the efforts they make to seem like they are. And I think a lot of us can attest to that and have our own personal experiences in regards to that. But how do you guys feel about the word queer? Because when I was growing up, that word was used against me in a derogatory way so many different times. It was never used as something pleasant or a descriptor. And even to this day, whenever I hear that word, it's just like the F slur. It knocks me into this fight or flight mode. And that's something that I'm still working on as I continue to grow up. But I just wonder how others feel about it, because it's like, who asked people if that was an okay word to use? There are so many other examples that I could use of derogatory words being used in a mainstream way and being used in a way that's made to make everyone feel like it's PC. And I just don't feel like there's enough people talking about this. So let me know down in the comments below, what do you guys think about the word queer? Do you identify with it? And if you do identify with that word, please know that I'm not judging you. I don't have any judgment towards you or resentment towards you at all. Honestly, sharing your experience could educate me. So that's why I'm asking how you guys feel about the word. I don't like it. So let me know what you think. So before I move into the next portion of this video, I wanted to ask you guys to leave all of your questions that you might have for me down in the comment section, because I am going to be working on a Q&A video in the near future. So in that video, I'll be answering all of those questions along with other questions from past videos of mine. So if you have anything that you've been wanting me to answer, or anything that you're just curious about, or maybe some advice, just leave it down in the comment section and I'll answer it in an upcoming video. So let me share a little bit about myself. You guys know I like to share my blessings and my tribulations of the week, aka my highlights and my downfalls of the week. So let me get into my blessing of the week. And I talked about this a little bit earlier in the video, but my blessing of the week is the fact that I was able to get everything completed in time for my candle collection launch, which was on March 19th. And it usually takes me from start to finish, from like the planning stage to the sourcing to the creating to the experimenting stage to the final stage where I'm taking pictures of the products and putting them on my website, which is westnovelties.com, if you're wondering. So that process typically takes about a month and a half. And I know it seems like it could be done in a shorter amount of time, but you guys, I have so many things that I'm constantly doing. I have a social life that I'm trying to balance. I have this candle business, of course, my YouTube channel, which I haven't been the best with being consistent on, but I'm working on it. I have my adult content that I create and my webcam shows that I do Monday through Friday. So I like to stay occupied, I like to stay busy, and I usually prioritize what's most important, or like what I'm getting paid for the most, or basically just what's the most important task I need to accomplish. And working on launches can present so many issues that bleed out into my other sections of life, like my social life and my family life and my work life. So it's really important for me to work hard and be extremely diligent when it comes to preparing for an upcoming candle launch, because I have been late in the past. Like for my winter cabin candle collection, I wanted to get that up on Black Friday and I ended up launching on December 1st. So it was just a few days after Black Friday, but I was really hard on myself about that because I felt like I could do better. So from this moment forward, or from that moment forward, I promised myself that I would work and do whatever it took to get my launches out when I say that they're going to be available. I also decided for this collection to do a soft launch, meaning I wasn't going to be doing a bunch of promotional campaigns or marketing for it. I was just going to kind of silently post the products and just talk about them and just not be so gung-ho about it, because I think in the past that is what was overwhelming me, especially when I would get my hopes up and kind of plan for a certain amount of sales to come through, and then when I didn't hit that mark, I was disappointed, or I was sad, or I wondered like what's wrong with my business, or what's wrong with my candles, or what's wrong with me. So instead of going down that rabbit hole and continuing to put myself in those types of situations, I try to learn from the past and move forward with a new plan. So that's what I'm doing with this collection. And I hope that makes sense to you guys. But basically, the blessing is that the pictures, the candles, the entire idea of the collection manifested exactly how I saw it happening in my head. And it's just a testament to the fact that if I work hard enough on something and I stay focused and diligent, I can accomplish anything. So that was my blessing of the week. All right, so let's get on to my tribulation of the week. So my tribulation of the week is something that's not so fun, but it's not horrible, so bear with me. Many of you guys know from my previous videos that I have to move again. Again, I know. Again, it's like I cannot seem to find that feeling of home, that feeling of belonging. I got a little taste of that feeling a couple weeks back when I was hanging out with my mom a lot, and I sort of hit this wall, and I was like, what am I doing? I'm 25. I can't be hanging out with my mommy all the time. And it was kind of a grounding experience, me stepping away from everything and hanging out with her and helping her out with her house. But where I stand now, I realize that I need to be strong. I need to work hard. I can't depend on anyone. Not because they've done me wrong, but because I need to be able to depend on myself when things get tough and have plans and tactics of getting myself out of that kind of slump. So that was a huge lesson that I learned this past month, but I think it's just bittersweet realizing that I have to move in a few weeks. And the weather has been really nice here and mild in Arizona. So I've actually been able to sit out on my porch and soak up the sun and hang out with my doggy and just kind of appreciate my home that I worked so hard to get into, that I'll only be here for a couple more weeks, and I'm finally just now like appreciating it. So it's funny how life works sometimes, especially because I've had so many issues with my next door neighbor and just not liking the neighborhood that I live in. It's not exactly safe. So I can't just walk down the street with my dog. I mean, I could, but my intuition is just going to be going haywire. And every time I ignore that intuition or that gut feeling, something bad happens to teach me a lesson. So I really haven't even walked on the street that I live on because it's so sketchy. And when I was picking this place, I just figured, I'll deal with it. Like, I'm tough, I can deal with it. But then one of my friends downloaded this crime app on my phone that shows you all the crime that happens around you. I started getting alerts on that multiple times a day, all throughout the day and night, to the point where I actually had to delete the app because it was giving me so much anxiety. I don't remember the exact name of the app, but it would tell you how far away something happened, when it happened. Sometimes there would be videos of the situation that were submitted by other users on the app, and it would just be the most like evil stuff going on. And I'm trying to sit here in my home and like make dinner and relax on a Thursday evening, and not a good feeling. But I had this moment the other day where I was sitting out on my back porch and just kind of breathing in the air and soaking up the sun. And I just looked up into the sky and I said, thank you, God. Because I used to pray for times like that. And it might not have happened on my time, but I did achieve that dream. And I achieved that goal of having my own little backyard where I could touch soil and like pull weeds and stuff like that. And it might sound so small and meaningless, but to me, that was that moment where I was like, thank you, because I see that you answered my prayers, but it was on your time. And I think anytime you pray for something or wish for something and you work towards it, just know that it's most likely not going to happen on your time. Okay? So I would say that was the tribulation of my week. My question to you guys is, did you struggle searching for a feeling of home when you were in your 20s? Or is this just something that I'm hyperfixated on? I have a pretty good idea of why I spent 6 years moving to and from different parts of Phoenix, but I'm curious to know if you want me to talk about that in a future video. Because I've heard other guys talk about the constant moving and the searching for belonging as well. So now I would like to share something very special with you guys. Introducing the 2024 Fresh Spring Candle Collection from West Novelties. What do you guys think? What do you think? Yes, I got the dyed wax for this collection. As you can see, I got this pastel pink, pastel blue, bright, almost neon yellow, and a pastel green. I wanted to stay with pastel toned colors because it just reminds me of spring, and plus Easter's around the corner. Don't these look like little Easter treats that you could just find in an Easter basket or inside of a giant egg? But I wanted to share this with you guys and not go too much on it because I know some of you don't like when I talk about my products, but I work so hard on them and they're my pride and joy, so I can't help but share them with you sometimes, especially when I just launched a new collection. So let's get into the first one. As you can see, these are my first ever labels that I printed from home. So I'm doing more and more by myself rather than outsourcing and waiting for them to print them out and ship them to me and all of that. So yes, these labels came out great. They're the first candles with my actual company logo on them, the West Novelties logo right there. And I'm just really happy with how they turned out. So this is my 10-ounce candle. It's in a clear jar, as you can see. It's got the warning label on the bottom. This one smells almost exactly like, well, very similar to a lemon head. Did you guys like lemon heads growing up? I love lemon heads, and that's one of the main reasons I chose this candle, is because it reminded me of my childhood. But lemon also is such a electrifying scent. So the main notes of this are lemongrass, sugar crystals, and mint leaf. So there's a little bit of a twang at the end of it. But that's lemon zest, you guys. Lemon zest, one of my favorites. All right, so let's go on to the next one. Next candle is Cactus Nectar. And it's not very often that I find fragrances that remind me of Arizona and just the desert out here and cacti and all of that. So this scent is that scent. Oh my gosh. It's like I'm taking a hit of it. Like, it's so good, you guys. This one I call my Zen scent. And you know what it reminds me of? My second apartment that I lived in here, I actually lived with my mom when she first moved here. Their leasing office smelled so good every time you walked in there. And it wasn't like a fake perfumey smell. It was like a natural essential oil, not like a spa, but like very fruity, fresh, clean. And that's exactly what this candle reminds me of. So some of the notes for Cactus Nectar are aloe, fresh flowers, and sandalwood. So this is a very unique scent. And like I said, you guys, I try to pick scents that bring me back or remind me of a certain experience or a time from my past. And Cactus Nectar definitely reminds me of when I first moved to Arizona and I was smelling all these new scents and I was feeling a lot more relaxed than I do now. So yes, Cactus Nectar. And it's just such a pretty, almost minty green, but it's just more of a pastel green. So, all right, let's move on to the next one. The next candle is Sunshine Daisy. Yes, Sunshine Daisy. Now this candle is like happiness in a candle. That's why I decided to color it pink, because pink to me seems like a very flamboyant, happy, could be girly, but just very happy and smiley and bouncy. Yep, that's exactly this candle. Sunshine Daisy. Fresh linen, fruity, and floral notes. All right, let's get on to the next one. The next one is called Honeydew Showers. And it's my pastel blue candle. And this one reminds me, before I even open it, because this is, if not my favorite of the collection, it's one of my favorites. Because this one reminds me of like a rainy day in the spring where it's not cold, it's raining, or like a rainy morning even when you're getting ready to go to school. And maybe it just stopped raining and it's warm out. You can hear the birds. You can see the sky starting to clear up. There's puddles on the sidewalks and stuff. Yes. Maybe some guy mowed his grass the night before, so you can smell that freshly cut grass scent. That's exactly honeydew showers. So let me show you the label on this one because I don't know if I did yet. So honeydew showers, relaxing and soothing with notes of cucumber and melon along with coconut. So another very unique scent. Guys, you won't smell these anywhere else. Seriously. These are like no other candles. That you really won't smell these anywhere else. And that's another thing I focus on when I'm creating the candles, is I don't want them to be just like the cheap candle that you get from the dollar section in your grocery store, or the candle that you saw at Ross that smells exactly the same. No, and trust me, I love candles, you guys. That's why I started this company. These candles are like no other. Let me show you guys. I'm not going to go over the scents again, but I have 2 sizes available. So this is my 15-ounce size, and they're the same jars, the glass jars with the bamboo lids. These have twin wicks. So one of the things I noticed in my Rustic Ambience collection was that I was using the wood wicks and it was causing a little bit of tunneling in the candle, and I wanted to prevent that from happening in the future. So if you're wondering why I chose to go with the twin wicks rather than the wood wicks for this size, that's why. And in the future, I will be using twin wood wicks for these jars in future collections, but that's neither here nor there. So here is Sunshine Daisy. As you guys can see, these are, again, the 15-ounce candles. And just for a little bit of reference, there's the 10-ounce on top of the 15-ounce. Okay, here is the Honeydew Showers, 15-ounce. I just love honeydew showers. Next, we have Lemon Zest. Gotta smell them all. Lemon Zest, baby. Just makes me smile instantly. Cactus Nectar, of course. Can you guys guess why I dyed this one green? Cactus Nectar, get it? So you guys will know exactly what I mean by the similarity to the Arizona desert and just the way it smells after it rains here. This candle encaptures all of that. I'm also doing something for the first time for this collection, and I'm introducing what's called a starter kit. And the starter kit includes one 10-ounce Sunshine Daisy candle and one 15-ounce Cactus Nectar candle at a very discounted price. Now, I call it the starter kit because both of these scents are just quintessential spring scents. So the Cactus Nectar will bring more so the relaxing kind of zen vibes, and the Sunshine Daisy brings more of the energetic, fruity, bubbly, social vibes. I would say that Sunshine Daisy is a great candle to light if you're having a party. If you want to just set this on like your counter, or I don't know, near like a side table where people can walk by and just smell it. And another reason I chose these clear jars is, of course, so you could see the flame through it, because there's nothing prettier than candlelit bathtubs or just a candlelit table or like a side table or a nightstand with a candle burning on it. So I love the clear vessels. But yeah, guys, this is going to be my starter kit. So if you're interested in that, check out my website, westnovelties.com, for my starter kit at a very discounted rate. If you were to buy it separately, meaning this separately and this separately, you wouldn't be saving as much money. I have tons of other candles on there from previous collections, but this is my latest pride and joy. I hope you guys like how it turned out because I love the way it turned out. And other than that, Make sure you leave your questions for me down below in the comment section, because I am going to be doing a Q&A video in the near future. And thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!